it's email. It's about email and how to win with your email list. So this is going to be part of my podcast. So if you want to access the recorded version of this and all the links and resources I talk about, you can go to dominatewebmedia.com/session 9. But I'm pretty excited. I want to talk about this because this is important stuff. If you are trying to grow a business today in today's environment with the digital kind of marketing revolution that we're in, and you're trying to maybe start a new business, grow an existing business, maybe you have an e-commerce store, it doesn't matter. Even if you're business to business, business to consumer, the email is a huge deal. And I like to tell a little bit of a story. Just think about Amazon. Every time you go to Amazon and you search for a product and you end up maybe putting something in your shopping cart or buying a product, what happens over the next few weeks and few months? You're getting these targeted emails from Amazon, and basically pitching you certain products that they think you might be interested in. The other thing is I used to be the e-commerce account manager for a company that sells back pain relief equipment. They do about $25-30 million a year in this fitness equipment, and they have their product in stores like Dick's Sporting Goods, Amazon, Costco, every single Sports Authority, Walmart, you name it. They're in about 350 different dealers, and they sell online. And one of my dealers that I used to always talk to was Overstock.com, and the buyer rep there who basically decides who they want to promote and who they want to really help out. And when it came to an email marketing promotion, if somebody was to do an email marketing promotion, the average sales for a product that was about $100, so if it was a $100 product or less, they would sell an average of 1,000 units with one email blast. And that was the averages. Now our product was about $300, so it was the numbers go significantly down from there. It was about 150 to 200 units is what we'd sell with one email blast. But do the numbers. I mean, that's $100,000 with one click of the send button, from your email list from Overstock.com. But it's basically the number one ROI strategy there is with any business. And we talk a lot about, social media strategies and advertising on Facebook and these types of things that are really working these days. But the only way they work, like I always talk about, is if you are able to really develop a list and grow the relationship with that list, and then, come around and then eventually sell them products or services or let them become a customer or client. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit real quick about why it's important. I'm going to talk about how to implement if you are a small business, medium-sized business, or really any business out there. Okay. Think about this. How often do you check your email? I mean, I check it too many times throughout the day, first of all, because when you're talking about trying to stay focused and get things done, I advise people to try not to check their email in the morning so you don't get distracted, right? But everybody likes to do it. I mean, you typically check your email first thing in the morning when you get up. And everybody else does too. If you're a business owner, think about your customers or potential customers. That's what they're doing. And why do they do that? Well, they do that because there might be something important, all right? There might be something important. So, and some people are actually getting instant messages or almost like notifications, like a text message with their email provider, which I highly recommend against doing that if you want to be productive. That's a whole nother subject. But people do that because they like to open up their emails. So if you want to get in front of people, that's the best way to do it, and it's the best way to really market down the road for free. So it's a way to really double or triple the ROI of everything else you're doing. Just continue to build that list. So let's go ahead and talk about how you do it. I mean, so there's a reason. First of all, there's a reason email should be your number one priority for building your business and building your relationship, because it allows you to strengthen the relationship with not only with your customers, but with your subscribers in a really easy way. It's really the best way to strengthen that relationship, I would say, besides face-to-face conversation or a telephone call. But the cool thing about email too is it's always there. So if you have an email communication, somebody can always go back to that and find out whether it was just, educational content that you sent them or it was actually a product offer. People can go back to that and they know it and they can search for it. And now with the services out there with Gmail and stuff like that, it's really easy to actually find emails that have been there for forever. So, but let's see here. The other best part about building your email list. I've got a long list here. I don't want to get too distracted here and get lost on this list because there's a lot of benefits. But the other great part about building your email list is that you're basically building an asset that you own. So if your website goes down, or if your social media account with 15,000 fans gets shut down for some reason, or your YouTube channel, or you're designing a new website, you have this list. This is huge. This is what, just look at Groupon and why they were valued at so many billions of dollars is because they know every single email they send is a certain amount of sales they have. It's scientific down to the point. So you're owning that asset. You're building that asset with your email list and kind of own the race course, not the racehorse philosophy. And like the hub and spoke kind of marketing philosophy I always talk about, your website, your blog is your hub, your email list, you're building your email list through that, and all these other channels out there are feeders into that hub. Now, and the other thing too is imagine if you decide to launch another product or launch another service or launch another website, you now have that email list that you can launch that with. It makes it much easier to ignite a new project or a new product or a new service. So you decide you want to start ramping up email. I'm going to talk about what to do if you're not already doing it. If you are already doing it, how to really improve the response that you're getting and what you should be promoting, what you should be writing, those types of things. All right. So first of all, you need to, if you want to use email marketing as a way to generate business, and I don't really necessarily like that phrase anymore, because when you think about that, you start thinking about people that all they do is they use their email to try to sell stuff to people, and then really just kind of ticks people off in the long run. So you got to be careful when you talk about that. But really, email marketing is kind of the normal phrase of what it's called. So you're going to need to find an email service provider, basically email marketing software tool. One of the best ones to use really is, if you're not a very super duper high complex company, is Aweber. Okay. Aweber is basically $1 for the first month. And then the price it's about $20 a month. It's cheap. And I use Aweber. I also use another service called Infusionsoft, which is a higher level, a lot smarter, service, but it's a lot more expensive and it's very complex. It's something you'd probably, jump up to after a couple years, depending on your business. But with Aweber, what it is it's an email autoresponder. Okay, so what that means is you can set up your emails ahead of time so they automatically go out whenever you decide to set them up as. So, for example, if somebody comes to your website, they join your list, and they become one of your subscribers under your newsletter, then you can have an email that goes out automatically as soon as they join your list. You can have another email that you already wrote that goes out the next day. Okay, and then you can have another email if you want that goes out 3 days after that. And you can basically set up a schedule for how these emails are disseminated out to your list. And when you do start an email marketing program, it's good to have 5 or 6 emails already in the coffer, already set up, already pre-written, but they don't feel like they're pre-written when somebody on the other end is getting it. Okay, it's automated on your end, but on their end, they're getting a personalized email that they can, read and they can learn more about your business or your products or your service. Now, I recommend Aweber because it's easiest. The forms are the easiest to create, and there's other products like iContact, like Constant Contact, like MailChimp. MailChimp's actually free for 500 subscribers or less. It's a little bit more difficult to build forms in, but Aweber, it's very easy to design these forms. And the form is where somebody actually signs up to your email list. All right, so I actually got an excellent article by Pat Flynn, and I'll have the link on the show notes. Pat Flynn from smartpassiveincome.com. He's got a completely very detailed article on how to get Aweber specifically set up and running, and I'll have a link to that so you can go check that out. But once you sign up for your email service, then you need to create a form where people can basically sign up and then be added to your list. And you need to have that form on your website or even on your Facebook page nowadays, on a Facebook landing page. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. This is where the strategy comes into place. First of all, where do you want to put this form? And then you need to incentivize people, why should they sign up to become a subscriber into your business, all right? Well, some great places to add your opt-in forms are basically on the home page above the fold on your website. So if you have a website, you want to have somewhere on there where somebody can join your list, become a subscriber, or get something for free that you're offering, and it needs to be above the fold. What's the fold? The fold is basically the bottom of the screen. So if somebody has to scroll down to see the rest of the content, kind of like the old newspapers, the fold is, the front page, and then the bottom part of the front page is the bottom of the fold. So on a website, it's where you have to scroll down. So if you can, it's not mandatory, but it's definitely going to be you're going to get a lot higher conversions if you have your opt-in form above the fold. You want to have it on the sidebar of your website throughout, all the way through your website. Another great place to have an opt-in form is inside an article or at the end of an article. So let's say you write a blog post or do a video or something like that. At the bottom of that, you want to have some type of a opt-in form to let people join your list. All right. Now, let's see here. Before I go into too many strategies on where to put this form, let's talk about what you can offer, why somebody should join your list. If you want somebody to join your list, you got to give them the reason. It's kind of like if a business that says, like us on Facebook. Well, like us on Facebook for what reason? Maybe if it said, like us on Facebook to win an iPad or something like that, to enter to win an iPad, you'd probably have a lot better chance of getting people to like you on Facebook instead of just saying, like us on Facebook. So if you want people to join your list, then you need to have a lead magnet. Okay, you need to give them a reason. So this could be a white paper. This could be like an ebook talking about your service. This could be a 5-day video series, a 5-day email series. It could be just one video talking about whatever it is. Think about what kind of problems or pain that your potential customers or clients are trying to solve. Think about that, and then what can you do to offer that as a solution so you can build this relationship. And this is huge. This is how you can, if you can get a very, very high quality lead magnet, you can offer to somebody. It's going to do so many different things. It's going to give you the ability to advertise more because you can now know that you're going to get some subscribers. So you're going to be able to email them and then bring them back into your sales funnel and sales process. All right. This could be something that's educational that teaches people about whatever that solution or problem they're trying to solve, and then of course you're going to want to work that back into how your product or service can help solve that problem too. Lots of different things you can use for these lead magnets. All right. Now, once you figure out what you can offer, then you're going to decide how you want to do that. Like I said, you can have it at the top of your site. You can have it on the sidebar. You can have it inside an article. A new way to do it that some people are doing is you can have like an opt-in right at the very top of your header all the way throughout your site. Okay. If you do use a WordPress site, there's some pretty cool plugins that you can use. One is called Opt-in Skin. Okay. I don't have a link in the show notes for this, and basically it integrates automatically with whichever email tool you use. Like if you use Aweber, then they have these really cool designed forms that are already designed for you. Even though inside of Aweber you can design your own form, but to make it look really cool, you have this opt-in skin, and it's just a plugin that goes right into your back end of your WordPress site, and then you can add it in the middle of your articles, in the middle of your posts, at the bottom of your posts. You can put it in the sidebar. It's really, really cool. Another thing you can do is you can actually have a landing page, kind of a squeeze page, when somebody first comes to your website. Okay, so if they come to your website for the first time, it actually takes them to your kind of lead magnet offer. Join our list to find out the 3 biggest mistakes that people make when they ... Okay, now if somebody actually clicks on a link that somebody refers them a link that goes to an article and somewhere within your website, they actually won't go to that squeeze page. It'll take them right to the page, so it's not interruptive. Okay, so somebody that actually gets a specific individual URL in your site, they won't hit that squeeze page. And that squeeze page, you can do that through a company called Lead Pages. It's really cool. It's a brand new software, and I'll have the link in the show notes too. It's called Lead Pages, and it's by a guy named Clay Collins. and it's very, very cool for getting opt-ins. It's the same guy. He also has a software called Lead Player, and if you have a video on your website and it's a YouTube video, it's basically a YouTube video player that people can opt in right on the video, right on the screen when they're watching the video. It'll pause like a minute into it whenever you decide. Maybe it's at the end of the video, and you can say, hey, enter your email to get my 7-page report on ... All right. Very cool. The same guy that developed that has developed Lead Pages. It's a brand new software for somebody that has zero graphic design skills. They basically have the highest converting pages that enterprise level companies are using out there, like Amazon.com, and a lot of these companies doing hundreds and thousands of visitors. They've got these high converting designed landing pages that we get to use now without having any graphic design skills. It's really, really cool. I'm actually in the middle of a blog post. I'm going to have all about that entire product itself, so I'll have pretty soon. You might, if you're listening to this not live, the recorded podcast version of it, then you'll probably be able to access that informational article about Lead Pages right now. So, all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get more into the actual strategies of email, how to get people to open your emails, when to send them your emails, what you should put, how you should schedule it out, okay? And I'm going to go through all that here in the next 10 minutes or so. But first, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about how to implement this process so you can start getting a better ROI on all the marketing you're doing for your business if you're doing any marketing. So we're back with Success Smash Up Radio.
Shoot up. Once that's in can.
The charming boutique-style Roosevelt Hotel, located at downtown and Pine, boasts a special place in the heart of Seattle. Step outside your door and you're surrounded by the finest in shopping, dining, and entertainment. Built in 1929, the hotel boasts a cozy, traditional atmosphere reminiscent of a past era. Treat yourself, experience the Roosevelt Hotel, and the best of downtown Seattle.
You don't think about it much, your furnace, until it's not performing when you need it and your house is cold. Well, stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing specializes in residential and commercial furnace repair and installation. But they'll also help you take regular care of your furnace by offering you a $59 furnace tune-up, making sure your furnace is energy efficient and you're warm all winter long. Stop freaking, call Beacon for your $59 furnace tune-up. 1-800-FREAKIN, 1-800-FREAKIN.
If you are interested in getting advice on your investments and financial plans, then you need to contact Sweetwater. Sweetwater makes a commitment to remain constantly mindful of what is important to its clients. Contact Sweetwater at 425-861-0112 or via their website, sweetwaterinv.com.
Have you ever wondered how healthy your home really is? Every aspect of how your home is built contributes to an interior ecosystem, which may positively or negatively affect your health and well-being. BioHealthy Homes specializes in the art and science of creating natural, healthy indoor environments, offering construction consultation and individual healthy home assessments. The team at BioHealthy Homes will be able to determine the presence of or how to avoid electromagnetic radiation, air quality testing, hidden moisture and mold, lead, and a host of other testing and consultative services to ensure your home is a healthy place to inhabit. For more information, visit biohealthyhomes.com.
On the AM band at 1150 and on the FM HD band at 98.9 HD3. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Success Mashup Radio, and we're talking about email, how to win with your email list. And if you're a business, this is basically a way to double or triple really the ROI of everything you're doing. If you're doing any marketing right now and you want to double the return on your marketing, then implement these strategies and just watch what happens. And then you'll be able to, it'll open up a lot of other avenues for you too. You know, you'll be able to have more salespeople out there in the field and be able to start doing a lot more with Facebook and Facebook advertising and stuff like that. So you'll be able to get a better ROI on your search, you know, lots of different things. So now what we're talking about is basically you have to have a lead magnet. You have to have a reason for people to join your list, and it needs to be relevant on your site, prevalent on your site, somewhere where people can see it and they take action, okay? And then you want to have a good title. So a lot of things are, numbers are great, you know, 7 ways to avoid, you know, top 7 ways to look 10 years younger in the next 30 days. You know, that's a good, it's got kind of everything there. It's a top 7, and it's also time limited. It's people sometimes are motivated when there's a time kind of frame in there. So, you know, biggest mistakes, people like those, the 3 biggest mistakes business owners make when they ... You know, lots of different things. That think about having a cool title, and it could be really given out. Like I said, it could be a 5-day email series that they get one each day for 5 days. It could be a video tutorial, a screen record video. It could be a video of you talking. It could be it could be a coupon or an offer, depending on what it is. It could be just the more educational it is, the better, though. You know, if you're an e-commerce store, it's a different story. You're going to have people join your list to get discounts, you know, something like that. So they're there to buy stuff, so it's going to be more related that way. If you're a restaurant or a local restaurant, you might do something where it is a coupon. You know, join our royalty club and get a free dinner, and it's a buy one, get one free, something like that. So now, if you're doing something educational, think about if you've already done something, like if you've already created a bunch of content or written blog posts or something over the years, repackage what you've already done and turn it into one easy to digest source. Now, people don't mind. People will pay for convenience. All right. So even if they know you've already written these in different articles, but you just combine it into one thing, one ebook or something like that, then that's okay. People are fine with that, and they're not really paying for it anyways, but really they are paying for it. They're paying for it with their email address. And these days, that's a big deal. I mean, that's someone giving away their private personal email address is a big deal. And people are definitely more and more hesitant to do that. So what your offer is, your lead magnet is, it needs to be very, very good. And I'll talk about more of that in a second here. All right. So now that you've decided your offer, what your offer is, then we're going to talk about the process. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to set up, you're going to sign up for a service like Aweber. Once you do, then what you're going to do is you're going to basically set up a new list, and you have to create a form inside of Aweber or whatever you're using. And now once you do that, you basically create your list. That's, you know, it's pretty simple. But then when you create a web form, so you can go in there and you can tell it if you want to ask for first name and email or just email. Sometimes you can just ask for email. If you do ask for first name, that way you can actually personalize the automated email that goes out. It will substitute their first name in there automatically, so it feels more personal. Sometimes people leave that off. I do in some cases because we have a higher conversion rate. More people opt in if they just put their email, and it's even easier to do. So either way is fine. The other thing too is the settings in there are going to want people to double opt in. And what that means is it's the confirmation email. So let's say I enter my email to get your free report. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give me a message, and you can have it so Aweber just creates this message automatically. And then it tells you that you're going to have to check your email, and there's going to be a confirmation email in your inbox. Now, you want to customize that if you can. Customize that a little bit. They've got a pre-written one, so try to customize that, personalize it. And then people have to click on a link in there. So they want to make sure that you're not just entering people's names into that form automatically. So it's less chance for spam. And the more people that do that, you're actually going to have a higher delivery rate. You can actually take that part off so people do not have to double confirm, and then they just automatically are added to your list. So there's 2 ways to do it. So some people really like to keep it so you do have the double confirmation in there. You're going to be safer in the long run. And that way you're going to only probably have better people on your list. It's not necessarily better to have more on your list if they're not good. It's all about the quality, not the quantity. All right. So don't worry about having a double opt-in. It's probably better in the long run. Now, how are you going to deliver this lead magnet or whatever it is you're delivering? Well, there's a few different ways to do it. I would recommend having it be delivered on that initial confirmation email. Okay. So what happens is they enter their name and email into the form, and then you can actually set up the email, that first email that goes out to them. Hey, how you doing? Thanks a lot. Congratulations. Blah 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 blah. All you have to do is click on this link, and you can take them to a page on your website where they can download it or watch it, or they can even just download it right there from the email. But typically, what I like to do is have it in that initial email, and then it takes them to a link on my website. So it's kind of all, personalized by me. Some people like to actually have the offer that they're giving away right on the confirmation, like the thank you page that Aweber creates. So I don't like to do that though. It's better if you add, I think it's better to, there's different reasons why, but basically it's that way that they always have it in their email. Okay. So you basically create a new page and then you have that link in that initial email that goes out after they join your list. All right. So then, let's see here. So yeah, now basically in that first follow-up email, what you're also going to want to do is you're also going to want to kind of let them know exactly what to expect. And you're doing this for two reasons. You're letting them know what to expect, to get them excited, because that way you're going to tell them, hey, I'm going to be sending you emails about this, this, and this, kind of get them excited. And the other thing it's going to do is it's going to reduce your spam complaints, because some people, they forget what they do, or maybe they just wanted your free offer, whatever it was. And then they'll end up hitting the spam button 3 emails later. So you want to let people know that so they can actually unsubscribe if they don't want to be subscribed. So you can reduce those spam complaints, because people just will, and they just, I don't know, it's weird. But so you're going to want to definitely do that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to, like I said, you're going to want to set up those emails that are going to be automatically going out over a certain period. So typically the next email that goes out should usually be the next day. Now the next email is what I recommend doing is making this next email basically your epic email, your gold, the best thing you can offer. Something that's very high valuable content rich, something that's also maybe actionable too, something where the light bulb goes off in their head, something they can take action on. So you're really building that first impression with people. So maybe it's something that you could sell, that you would sell. You have a hard time putting in an email. I would definitely recommend adding that into that service. That way what happens is you're building a strong relationship. So then when you do go to sell something, people they're thinking, wow, they're giving all this away for free. Imagine what they're giving away when they sell something, or imagine what their service or product is like when they sell something. So you got to really build that value with your email. All right. Now, how do you space out your autoresponder sequence? It's up to you, but typically you're going to spread out your days as time evolves. So it might be, like I said, the first one initially, the second one the next day, maybe the third one 2 days after that. Okay, maybe the fourth one 3 or 4 days after that one. And then eventually it can go to like where it's once a week. Okay, and then maybe after a month or two, you're going to every 2 weeks. And or maybe you just want to get somebody to join your newsletter, and you have a bi-monthly newsletter, but you have something that they get to join that. You give them something cool, like they get to download something, or they get to watch a video, but then they're just added to your bi-monthly newsletter. All right. So once you decide to do that, and you can of course test it and tweak it and see what people, see how people react. If you have a higher level system like Infusionsoft, you can actually change how frequent people get your emails by how they react and if they click on the links and what they do, and it's really, really smart and it's really cool. But it's a little more expendy. It's $1,000 to $2,000 to set up and $300 a month minimum, so it's not cheap. So it's a long learning curve too. But so let's stick with Aweber right now. Now, the other thing you're going to do is try to address when you're talking about what to put in these emails. Start thinking about people's biggest fears and frustrations here too. So you're going to want to think about what people are, what are they trying to solve? What problem are they trying to solve? Add that in this, especially that second initial email that I talked about. That's that next email, the very next day. Think about really what, write it try to write it to coming from their end. Think about that person and just put yourself in their head and looking out at you, and just think about what they're going through, what struggles they're going through, and get deep down to their inner motivations. Because typically if you have a product or service that you're offering or selling, they're usually not buying your product or service. Like if somebody's trying to buy a weight loss product, they're not necessarily trying to lose 20 pounds. Their actually ultimate goal isn't to lose 20 pounds. Their ultimate goal is to have their other half, their spouse, their husband or their wife, look at them like they haven't looked at them in 15 years. Or walk into their closet and see that dress they haven't been able to put on for 20 years and actually put it on. So thinking about their inner motivations when you're thinking about what to put on these emails. All right. So now, how much should you sell on your emails? All right. This is a tough one, and this really depends on your business. So you got to be careful here. But basically what I want to say is not too much. Your email should be about building relationships. The selling will come. All right. So you got to be careful here. The other thing is, when you're scheduling out these, autoresponder sequences, so you have everything scheduled out. One goes out one day, the next one goes out the 2 days after that, and so on and so on. You can also set up, you can send out broadcast emails anytime you want. So if you want to send out a broadcast email about a new article or a product that you're talking about or something that's cool, you can do that anytime you want. And one thing that I'd recommend possibly doing is when you do set up these schedules, you can set it up to go out every day but a certain day. So you could schedule your email to go out, initially, and then the next one goes out the next day, and then the next one goes out 2 days after that, and so on. But you can schedule them to go out so they go on every day of the week but Mondays, for example. So I might, so in my case, I actually leave Fridays, but I think I'm going to be switching to Mondays. I'm not sure yet, but I leave Fridays, so none of my autoresponder sequences go out on Friday. So if I want to do a broadcast email, then I always make sure and send it out on Friday. That way people aren't getting doubled up if they're already on one of my sequences, because people don't like to get 2 emails on the same day from the same person. So you just think about that. That's important. Okay, excuse me. So now let's talk about subject lines real quick before we're going to wrap this up here in the next few minutes. But subject lines are huge. Subject line is basically your headline. All right, so if you want people to open your emails, you need to have a good subject line. This is so important. The headline is the most important thing on a website page, or if you're trying to sell a product or service, your headline is the most important, the most critical part of your email. Okay, if you have an email that goes out to 10,000 people and it only gets opened by 10% of the people, then you're going to have, compared to 25%, then you're talking about 1,500 people less that saw that email that had a potential to come in and, maybe buy a product if you had a product offering in that. So we're talking your conversion and your sales conversion all starts with the subject line. All right. So you have to make it interesting. Lots of different ways. I'll put a link on the show notes to some good resources for headlines, because that's a whole nother topic. We can go on for hours on that, talking to expert copywriters on how to create a good headline, which basically is your subject line. But, question marks sometimes. There's a lot of different strategies here. But that is something you're going to want to look more into, because that's where it all starts. All right. So here's a couple kind of ninja little bit tricks you can do too, tips or tricks. One thing to do is what I like to do is you can add a survey on one of your emails. It could be on your initial one. It could be it could actually be even on the thank you page. Some people, what they'll do is they'll ask for just initial email to get the opt-in, to get that person on your list. Less friction. The less you ask for, the better chance you're going to get them to opt in. Okay, then on the next page, then you maybe have a question for them, and they can fill out more information to get something else or something like that. There's different things you could do. Maybe you have some kind of product you want to offer right after they opt in, but you can actually try to gather more information if you can on the next page. Maybe you have a survey you want to ask them and find out, like I talked about, their fears and frustrations, what's their biggest passions, those types of things that you can ask people. The other thing that I like to do is on the actual email, you can tell them to reply to this email. Say, we reply to this email. We read every email individually, and we'll reply personally. Please reply to this and let me know what your biggest struggles are in this, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So you can get them to reply, and then it just gets them more engaged. It's more personal too. Plus, you get to get a lot more information. So it's pretty cool. So, and if you do. If you don't do the reply method, but you actually do where you set up a little mini survey, you're basically just creating another form inside your email marketing service. So then all the information that they're filling out, you're getting that data automatically, and it's getting put right into the system, and you can just export it as a spreadsheet. So that's pretty cool. All right. What day I've talked about, what day of the week and what time should you send emails? This is a tough one here. It just depends, typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are good days. I think sometimes weekends can be good too. Even it's just random times, but when it comes to time, I'm not going to really tell you on times of the week, what days of the week, because it just really depends on, I think, your business and your industry. But when it comes to times of the day, I would definitely say you have the highest open rates in the morning. So once in a while, if you want to, test something out around lunchtime, maybe most of my audience is in the United States, so I would say around like lunchtime East Coast. but typically morning time. So I'm talking like 5 in the morning East Coast time. So that way it's getting to people right when they wake up, right? Because people like to check their email right when they wake up. So you want to be there before it gets buried in the clutter. So, but not too early. So that's going to be your best open rate by far, is first thing in the morning, and then maybe a little bit sometimes, right after that lunch thing. So, all right. So, like I said, go to dominatewebmedia.com/session9 for all the show notes and links I talked about in here. If it was really helpful, please, if you're listening to this at a later date on the podcast, please, comment, give us a rating in iTunes, stuff like that. We'd love it, appreciate it. And with any questions you have, just go ahead and email me, Keith@dominatewebmedia.com. We're going to wrap up this podcast with that. So hopefully you've got a lot of notes you can take you can take this stuff and really take your business to the next level. All right, we'll talk to you soon, and I'll be back in 2 minutes with Jeffrey Braun Furniture, and we're going to talk some pretty cool high-end furniture strategies and how they've been able to weather the storm in the last 2 years in the economy. All right, that's going to be it for podcast session 9. For all the show notes and all the resources I talked about on this podcast, go ahead and go to dominatewebmedia.com/session9. I've also got some great resources. I've got some other great podcasts that talk about more email marketing strategies that I think will be really helpful for you. So go ahead and go check those out too. If you enjoyed the podcast, if you enjoyed the content, please rate on iTunes, share on your Facebook page. Give me a comment if you have a comment. I'd love to hear about it. How we can do better, how you enjoyed it if you did. Please share it with YouTube, all those cool things. And other than that, I'm going to talk to you soon. Have a great day.